you ever felt like your happiness depends on others, leaving you drained and unfulfilled? What if you could find true peace and strength within yourself, no matter the circumstances? In this video, ZENLIGHT 8 uncovers powerful Stoic lessons to help you embrace solitude, let go of negativity, and build unshakable confidence. Stick around until the end for practical tools you can apply today to transform your life. Subscribe and join us on this journey to inner freedom. What if the secret to true happiness lies not in holding on, but in letting go? In a world that often equates security with clinging to the familiar, the idea of releasing what no longer serves us can feel daunting, even impossible. Yet, Stoic philosophy offers a profound truth. Freedom is found in the courageous act of letting go. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, gripping a fraying rope that tethers you to a past relationship, a soul-draining job, or a habit that chips away at your well-being. The rope feels safe because it's familiar, but it's also the very thing keeping you from soaring. Letting go isn't about losing. It's about reclaiming your power, creating space for growth, and trusting that what truly matters will find its way to you. This is the heart of Stoic wisdom. While we cannot control life's events, we can control how we respond. Let's embark on a journey to explore the transformative power of letting go, weaving together Stoic principles, real-life examples, and practical steps to apply this philosophy in our fast-paced, modern lives. Consider the weight of carrying something that no longer brings you joy. Picture yourself hiking a trail in the Rockies, a 20-pound backpack strapped to your shoulders. Each step up the mountain feels heavier, not because of the terrain, but because the backpack is filled with stones, each one representing a toxic friendship, a job that stifles your passion, or a grudge you've nursed for years. You keep climbing, believing these stones define you, that they're part of your story. But what if you paused, unzipped the pack, and let the stones fall away? Suddenly, your stride would lighten, your breath would deepen, and the path ahead would feel less like a burden and more like an adventure. This is what letting go does for your soul. It's not about abandoning your responsibilities or giving up on your dreams. It's about discerning what truly belongs in your life and having the courage to release what doesn't. Stoicism teaches us that clinging to the familiar often stems from fear of change, fear of the unknown, fear of losing control. But ask yourself, is holding on to a relationship that drains you or a job that leaves you empty truly keeping you safe? Or is it chaining you to a life less than you deserve? Let's ground this in a real-world example. Meet Sarah, a 32-year-old marketing manager in Seattle. For years, she stayed in a relationship that eroded her confidence. Her partner's constant criticism made her doubt her worth, but the familiarity of the relationship felt like a safety net. Leaving meant facing the uncertainty of being alone, a prospect that terrified her. Yet, one day, inspired by a Stoic idea she stumbled upon in a podcast, control what you can, accept what you cannot, Sarah asked herself a critical question. Is this relationship making me happier, or am I just afraid of what comes next? This moment of introspection sparked a shift. She ended the relationship, not out of anger, but out of a commitment to her own growth. The first few weeks were lonely, but they also gave her space to rediscover herself. She took up painting, something she'd abandoned in her 20s, and started running along the Puget Sound, each mile a testament to her newfound freedom. Today, Sarah describes letting go as the moment she stopped carrying someone else's weight and started walking my own path. Her story echoes a Stoic truth. Letting go is not defeat, it's liberation. This idea resonates deeply in our modern American culture, where we're often bombarded with messages to hold on or fight for what's yours. Social media amplifies this, showcasing curated lives that make us feel we must cling to relationships, jobs, or even material possessions to prove our worth. But Stoicism invites us to engage in critical thinking, to question these narratives. Why do we hold on to things that no longer align with our values? Is it because they serve us, or because we've been conditioned to fear loss? Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Perhaps you're stuck in a job that pays the bills but leaves you unfulfilled, like a 9 to 5 grind in a cubicle that feels miles away from your passions. Or maybe you're holding on to a grudge. Say, a falling out with a friend who betrayed your trust 5 years ago. Each time you replay that hurt, it's like adding another stone to your backpack. Critical thinking, a cornerstone of Stoic practice, asks us to evaluate these burdens objectively. Does this job spark joy or merely provide a paycheck? Does this grudge empower you or keep you tethered to pain? By questioning our attachments, we begin to see that letting go is not a loss but a gain of space, energy, and possibility. So, how do we apply this in our daily lives? Start small, as Stoicism emphasizes actionable steps over grand gestures. Begin by identifying one thing in your life that no longer serves you. Could be a habit like scrolling through social media for hours each night, which studies show increases anxiety for 60% of Americans. Or it might be a commitment like attending a weekly meetup that feels more like an obligation than a joy. Write it down and ask, does this align with the life I want to live? If the answer is no, take one concrete step toward letting it go. For the social media habit, set a 30-minute daily limit using an app blocker. For the meetup, have an honest conversation with the group leader, explaining your need to step back. These actions may feel uncomfortable, even scary, but they're acts of courage. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Each small release builds momentum, teaching you that letting go is a skill you can master. Let's explore another angle, the emotional weight of letting go. In American culture, we often romanticize sticking it out, whether in relationships, careers, or even personal goals. But Stoicism challenges this by framing letting go as an act of self-respect. Imagine you're driving across the country, your car loaded with old furniture you've been hauling for miles. The weight slows you down, burns more gas, and makes the journey exhausting. At a rest stop, you realize you don't need that chipped coffee table or those mismatched chairs. You donate them to a local thrift store, and suddenly, your car feels lighter, the road ahead more inviting. Life is no different. When you let go of emotional baggage, a grudge, a fear, a toxic connection, you're not giving up, you're choosing to travel lighter. This perspective shift is powerful. It reframes letting go as an investment in your future, not a surrender of your past. For a practical example, consider the story of James, a 45-year-old teacher in Chicago. James spent years in a teaching job that drained him. The school's bureaucracy stifled his creativity, and he felt disconnected from his students. Yet he stayed, fearing that leaving after 15 years would mean throwing it all away. One evening, reading Epictetus's words, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will," James had an epiphany. He realized he couldn't control the school's policies, but he could control his response. He quit, took a pay cut, and started teaching at a community center where he could design his own curriculum. The transition was tough, financially and emotionally, but within a year, James felt alive again. His passion for teaching reignited. His story shows that letting go, though daunting, opens doors to opportunities that align with your true self. In today's world, where burnout affects 77% of American workers according to a 2023 Gallup poll, letting go is more relevant than ever. Whether it's saying no to a toxic workplace, decluttering your schedule, or releasing unrealistic expectations, this Stoic practice empowers you to reclaim your energy. Try this. Dedicate 1 hour this week to a life audit. List the commitments, relationships, and habits in your life. For each, ask, does this bring me closer to the person I want to be? If the answer is no, make a plan to let it go, even if it's just one small step, like declining an invitation that doesn't spark joy. As you practice, you'll notice a shift, a lightness, a clarity, a sense of freedom that comes from aligning your life with your values. Letting go is not a one-time act, but a lifelong journey. Each release, no matter how small, is a step toward a life unburdened by what no longer serves you. As you stand at the edge of this decision, picture yourself on a beach, the waves washing away the sand beneath your feet. The ocean doesn't cling. It flows, and in that flow, it finds its power. You, too, can find strength in letting go, creating space for joy, growth, and the life you deserve. So, take a deep breath and ask, what can I release today to make room for something better? The answer is waiting within you. Next, we'll explore how to thrive in solitude by embracing self-acceptance, a vital step in building a life of inner peace and strength. What does it mean to truly be at peace with yourself? In a world that often measures happiness by the number of friends on your social media feed or the buzz of a crowded room, the idea of finding joy in solitude might feel like a paradox. Yet, Stoic philosophy offers a radical truth. Happiness doesn't come from external validation or constant company. It begins with loving and accepting yourself. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's a sacred space where you can forge a profound connection with your inner self, uncovering strengths you never knew you had. But to fully embrace this gift, you must also clear away the negativity that clouds your mind, toxic relationships, draining habits, and self-doubt that dim your light. Imagine your life as a garden. To let your soul flourish, you must nurture it with self-acceptance and weed out what no longer serves you. Let's dive deeper into these Stoic lessons, weaving together timeless wisdom, real-life stories, and practical steps to help you thrive in solitude and protect your inner peace in today's fast-paced American life. Picture yourself sitting alone on a quiet morning, a cup of coffee warming your hands as the first rays of sunlight filter through your window. In this moment, there's no one to impress, no expectations to meet, just you and your thoughts. For many, this solitude might stir unease, a nagging sense of emptiness. But what if you saw it differently? What if this moment was an invitation to meet yourself, to listen to the quiet voice within that's often drowned out by the noise of the world? Stoicism teaches us that true happiness begins with self-acceptance, with embracing every part of who you are, your strengths, your flaws, your scars. As Epictetus said, "He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing." Contentment starts within, and solitude is the canvas where you paint the most authentic relationship of your life, the one with yourself. This isn't about isolating yourself from others, but about choosing solitude as a deliberate act of self-love, a chance to reconnect with your essence and discover what truly makes you whole. Let's ground this in a story. Meet Emily, a 28-year-old graphic designer in Austin, Texas. For years, Emily chased approval from others, her colleagues, her friends, even strangers on Instagram. She'd spend hours curating posts, agonizing over likes, and saying yes to every social invite, fearing she'd miss out. But deep down, she felt hollow, disconnected from herself. One day, exhausted by the constant hustle, she stumbled across a quote from Marcus Aurelius. "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Inspired, Emily decided to try something radical. She took a weekend alone. No phone, no social media, just a sketchbook and a trail in Zilker Park. At first, the silence was unnerving. But as she walked the 3-mile loop, sketching wildflowers and journaling her thoughts, she began to hear her own voice again. She realized she'd been so busy pleasing others that she'd forgotten what brought her joy. That weekend marked a turning point. Emily started carving out solo dates. Time to paint, read, or simply sit by the Colorado River, reflecting on her dreams. Through solitude, she learned to love herself, flaws and all, and found a confidence that no external validation could match. This story resonates in our American culture, where the pressure to be on all the time is relentless. A 2022 Pew Research study found that 64% of Americans feel overwhelmed by social obligations. Yet many fear solitude, equating it with loneliness. Stoicism challenges this by reframing solitude as empowerment. It's not about escaping society, but about creating space to know yourself. Critical thinking plays a key role here. Ask yourself, why do I fear being alone? Is it because I've been taught that happiness requires constant connection? Or because I'm not yet at peace with who I am? In solitude, free from others' gaze, you can confront these questions honestly. Try this. Set aside 1 hour this week to be alone with your thoughts. No distractions, just a notebook and a quiet space. Write down what you love about yourself. Not your achievements, but your essence. Maybe it's your curiosity, your resilience, or the way you find beauty in small things, like a sunset over a lake. Then, note one flaw you've judged harshly, perhaps your tendency to procrastinate, and reframe it as a lesson, a sign you're human and growing. This exercise, rooted in Stoic self-reflection, builds a foundation for self-acceptance, turning solitude into a sanctuary. Self-acceptance isn't just a feel-good mantra. It's a commitment to your well-being. In a society obsessed with perfection, think airbrushed influencers or the hustle culture that glorifies 80-hour workweeks. It's easy to feel you're not enough. But Stoicism reminds us that your worth isn't tied to external markers. Stand in front of a mirror each morning, not to critique your appearance, but to look into your own eyes and say, "I am enough." Let these words sink in, not as a cliche, but as a truth. Celebrate your small victories. The time you spoke up in a meeting despite your nerves, the evening you chose a healthy meal over fast food, or the moment you forgave yourself for a mistake. These acts of self-love are like seeds planted in your garden, growing into a resilient sense of self that no one can take away. Now, let's shift to the next vital step: cleansing negativity from your life. If self-acceptance is the soil that nurtures your growth, removing toxic elements is the act of weeding out what threatens to choke your progress. Negativity comes in many forms: relationships that drain your energy, habits that sabotage your health, or even thoughts that undermine your confidence. Stoicism teaches us that peace of mind requires purification, a deliberate choice to protect your inner sanctuary. As Seneca advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This isn't just advice. It's a wake-up call. Who do you give your time to? Are they lifting you up or pulling you down? And what habits are you clinging to, not because they serve you, but because they're familiar? Consider the story of Michael, a 40-year-old software engineer in San Francisco. Michael had a friend group from college that he cherished, but over time, their gatherings became toxic. Every happy hour was filled with complaints, gossip, and subtle put-downs disguised as jokes. Michael felt drained after each meetup, yet he kept going, fearing he'd lose his oldest friends. One day, reading Seneca's words, he reflected, "Am I growing with these people, or am I just stuck in nostalgia?" He decided to set boundaries, politely declining invites and focusing on new connections. Colleagues who shared his passion for coding and a hiking group that inspired him to explore the Bay Area's trails. At first, the shift felt lonely, like losing a piece of his past. But within months, Michael noticed a lightness in his spirit. His weekends, once filled with negativity, were now spent hiking Mount Tamalpais or coding passion projects. By cleansing toxic relationships, he created space for connections that aligned with his values. This principle is crucial in our modern world, where negativity is often just a click away. A 2023 study by the American Psychological Association found that 59% of Americans feel stressed by toxic interactions, whether online or in person. Social media, for instance, can be a breeding ground for comparison and criticism, with algorithms feeding us content that fuels insecurity. Stoicism encourages us to think critically about our environment. Ask, does this relationship or habit bring me peace, or does it sow doubt? If you have a friend who constantly criticizes your choices, say, mocking your decision to pursue a side hustle, consider whether their presence aligns with your growth. Setting boundaries doesn't mean cutting them off coldly. It might mean limiting contact or having an honest conversation. For example, you could say, "I value our friendship, but I need to focus on what's positive for me right now." This act of saying no is really a yes to yourself, affirming your right to peace. Practically, start by auditing your life for negativity. Take a 10-minute walk, maybe around your neighborhood or a local park, and reflect on one relationship or habit that feels draining. Could be a coworker who gossips, pulling you into drama, or a habit like binge-watching shows until 2 a.m., leaving you exhausted. Once identified, take one actionable step. For the coworker, politely redirect conversations to neutral topics, like weekend plans. For the late-night streaming, set a bedtime alarm at 10 p.m. and replace screen time with a book or journaling. These small boundaries are like fences around your garden, protecting your growth. Over time, you'll notice a shift. Your energy increases, your mood lifts, and your life feels brighter. Cleansing negativity also means addressing internal toxins, self-doubt, guilt, or fear. In American culture, we're often taught to push through negative emotions, but Stoicism advocates facing them head-on. Try a Stoic exercise called Premeditatio Malorum, or Premeditation of Evils. Each morning, spend 5 minutes imagining potential challenges. Say, a tough work meeting or a moment of loneliness, and visualize yourself responding with calm and strength. This practice doesn't just prepare you, it builds resilience, reminding you that you're capable of handling whatever comes. For example, if you're dreading a solo evening, plan a nurturing activity, like cooking a favorite meal or taking a 2-mile run. By reframing solitude as a gift, you transform potential negativity into an opportunity for growth. Let's tie this back to self-acceptance. When you love yourself, you're less likely to tolerate toxicity because you know your worth. Imagine your life as a house. Self-acceptance is the foundation, strong and steady, while cleansing negativity is the act of opening the windows, letting fresh air dispel the staleness. Together, they create a home where you can thrive. In a world that often pulls us outward, demanding our time, attention, and energy, choosing solitude and protecting your peace are revolutionary acts. They declare that you are enough just as you are, and that your happiness is worth defending. Reflect on this. When was the last time you felt truly at peace alone? If the answer is elusive, don't be discouraged. That's a sign to lean into solitude, to nurture your relationship with yourself, and to clear away what's holding you back. Start today. Take a 15-minute walk alone, no phone, and notice the world around you. The rustle of leaves, the warmth of the sun. Then, identify one negative influence, a draining habit or relationship, and take one step to set a boundary. These actions, small as they seem, are the seeds of transformation. As you grow in self-acceptance and cleanse negativity, you'll find that solitude becomes not a challenge, but a sanctuary, and your life becomes a reflection of your truest self. But this journey doesn't end here. To fully embrace your inner strength, you must also uncover the power of your inherent worth and build confidence through action. These next lessons will guide you toward a life of resilience and purpose, rooted in the Stoic wisdom that you are enough, just as you are. What does it mean to truly know your worth? In a world obsessed with external markers of success, likes on social media, job titles, or the approval of others, it's easy to tie your value to what you achieve or how you're perceived. But Stoic philosophy offers a liberating truth. Your worth is inherent, woven into the fabric of who you are, not contingent on external validation. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything is only for a day, both that which remembers and that which is remembered. Fame, praise, and criticism are fleeting, but your intrinsic value, your character, your resilience, your capacity for growth, endures." Discovering this value means celebrating your small victories, living authentically, and trusting that you are enough just as you are. This is the path to true freedom and peace, a life unburdened by the need to prove yourself. Imagine you're standing in a forest, surrounded by towering trees, each one unique in its shape and strength. Some trees bear bright flowers, others heavy fruit, but their value doesn't lie in what they produce. It lies in their roots, their ability to stand firm through storms. You are like those trees. Your worth isn't defined by how loudly the world applauds you, but by the quiet strength within, your kindness, your perseverance, the way you rise after a fall. Stoicism teaches us to shift our focus inward, to measure ourselves not by other standards but by our own alignment with virtue. In American culture, where 68% of people report feeling pressure to keep up with societal expectations, per a 2024 YouGov poll, this shift is revolutionary. It frees you from the treadmill of comparison and anchors you in a truth no one can take away. You are valuable not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Let's ground this in a real-world example. Meet Aisha, a 35-year-old nurse in Atlanta. For years, Aisha tied her worth to her job, working grueling 12-hour shifts to earn praise from her supervisors and gratitude from patients. But the constant pressure left her burned out, and when a colleague's promotion overshadowed her efforts, she began questioning her value. One evening, exhausted and scrolling through a Stoic blog, she came across Epictetus's words, "You are not your possessions, nor your reputation, but your choices." This struck a chord. Aisha realized she'd been seeking validation from others, neglecting the quiet victories that defined her. Like the time she comforted a scared patient at 3 a.m. or taught her younger brother how to budget. She started a practice. Each night, she wrote down one thing she was proud of, no matter how small, like staying calm during a chaotic shift or taking a 15-minute walk to clear her mind. Over time, these notes became a tapestry of her worth, reminding her that her value lay in her actions and character, not in external applause. Today, Aisha feels a peace she hadn't known before, rooted in the knowledge that she is enough. This resonates deeply in our modern world, where social media often fuels comparison. A 2023 study found that 55% of Americans feel inadequate after scrolling through platforms like Instagram, where curated lives seem to set an impossible standard. Stoicism invites us to engage in critical thinking. Why do I feel less than? Is it because I'm truly lacking, or because I'm measuring myself against a distorted ideal? Try this exercise. Take 10 minutes today and list 5 things you value about yourself that have nothing to do with external achievements. Maybe it's your sense of humor, your loyalty to friends, or the way you find joy in a rainy day. These are your roots, the essence of your worth. Then, reflect on one small victory from the past week. Perhaps you finished a task despite feeling overwhelmed or chose to rest instead of overworking. Celebrate it, not because it impressed anyone, but because it reflects your growth. Living authentically is the next step. This means aligning your actions with your values, even when no one is watching. For example, if kindness is a core value, practice it quietly. Hold the door for a stranger or send a thoughtful text to a friend. These acts, though small, reinforce your worth, building a life that feels true to you. In a culture that often equates success with visibility, choosing authenticity is an act of courage. It's saying, "I don't need the world's applause to know I'm enough." Over time, this practice creates a sense of peace, like coming home to yourself after a long journey. Practically, start today by setting aside 5 minutes each morning to affirm your worth. Stand in front of a mirror, look into your eyes, and say, "My value comes from within." Then, name one quality you admire in yourself, like your curiosity or resilience. Throughout the day, notice when you're seeking external validation. Maybe checking your phone for likes or worrying about a coworker's opinion, and gently redirect your focus to your intrinsic worth. Ask, "Am I living true to my values right now?" This small habit, rooted in Stoic self-awareness, builds a foundation for freedom and peace, reminding you that your worth is unshakable. Confidence is often misunderstood as a trait you're born with, a natural charisma that some have and others don't. But Stoic philosophy reveals a powerful truth. Confidence is built, not bestowed. It grows through small, deliberate actions, through focusing on what you can control, your emotions, your efforts, your choices, and letting go of the need for external approval. As Seneca wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that we find things difficult." Confidence isn't waiting for the perfect moment or the world's permission. It's taking one step forward, then another, trusting that each action strengthens your belief in yourself. In a world where 62% of Americans report struggling with self-doubt, per a 2024 Pew Research study, this Stoic practice offers a practical path to resilience and inner strength. Picture confidence as a muscle. Each time you act despite fear, whether it's speaking up in a meeting, trying a new hobby, or setting a boundary, you're lifting a small weight, strengthening that muscle. You don't need to bench press a car to feel progress. Even a 5-pound dumbbell builds strength over time. Stoicism emphasizes focusing on what's in your control. You can't control whether your boss praises your work or whether a friend agrees with your choices, but you can control your effort, your attitude, and your response to setbacks. By anchoring your confidence in these choices, you create a foundation that external events can't shake. This is especially vital in American culture, where we're often taught that confidence comes from winning or being seen as the best. Stoicism flips this script, showing that true confidence flows from consistent, courageous action, no matter the outcome. Let's explore this through a story. Meet Carlos, a 30-year-old barista in Denver. Carlos always dreamed of becoming a writer but felt paralyzed by self-doubt. He'd compare himself to authors on bestseller lists, convinced he'd never measure up. One day, inspired by a Stoic podcast quoting Marcus Aurelius, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be 1 inch," Carlos decided to act. He couldn't control whether his writing would be published, but he could control his effort. He committed to writing 200 words a day, no matter how bad they were. At first, the words felt clunky, and his inner critic was loud. But each day, as he showed up to his notebook, he felt a spark of pride. After 3 months, he had a short story he was proud of, which he shared with a local writing group. The feedback was mixed, but Carlos realized something profound. His confidence didn't come from their praise, but from his consistency. Today, he's working on a novel, not because he's certain of success, but because each word he writes reinforces his belief in himself. Carlos's story reflects a Stoic truth: action breeds confidence. In our modern world, where instant gratification is king, think viral TikTok fame or overnight success stories, it's easy to feel that confidence requires big wins. But Stoicism teaches us to value the process over the prize. Every small action, running a mile, cooking a new recipe, or saying no to a draining commitment, is a vote for your capability. These acts accumulate, like bricks in a wall, building a confidence that's rooted in your own effort, not others' opinions. Critical thinking is key here. When self-doubt creeps in, ask, is this fear based on facts, or am I assuming I'll fail before I've tried? Then, take one actionable step toward your goal, no matter how small. This practice turns confidence from a distant dream into a daily reality. Here's how to apply this today. Identify one area where you want to feel more confident. Maybe public speaking, a creative pursuit, or standing up for yourself. Break it into a tiny, controllable action. If it's public speaking, record yourself reading a short poem and watch it back. If it's creativity, sketch for 10 minutes without judging the result. If it's asserting yourself, practice saying a polite no to a low-stakes request, like declining an extra errand. After each action, pause and acknowledge your effort, not the outcome. Write down one sentence. I took a step today, and that's enough. This Stoic-inspired habit shifts your focus from external results to internal growth, building confidence with every choice. Another practical tool is the control test, a Stoic exercise to stay grounded. Each morning, take 2 minutes to list 3 things you can control today: your attitude, your effort, one specific action like drinking water instead of soda, and one thing you can't, like a coworker's mood or the weather. Focus only on the first list. For example, if you're nervous about a work presentation, you can't control your audience's reaction, but you can control your preparation and delivery. Practice one slide aloud, then celebrate that effort. This keeps your confidence anchored in what you can do, not what you can't. Over time, these small actions create a feedback loop. Action builds confidence, which fuels more action, transforming how you see yourself. In American culture, where 74% of people feel pressure to prove themselves at work or socially, per a 2025 Harris poll, this Stoic approach is a lifeline. It frees you from the need for constant validation, letting you build confidence from within. Try a week-long challenge. Each day, take one small action toward a goal, like writing a paragraph, running a block, or meditating for 5 minutes. Track your efforts in a journal, noting how each step makes you feel. By day 7, you'll see a pattern. Your confidence isn't tied to applause, but to your persistence. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By focusing on what you control, you claim that mastery, step by step. Discovering your intrinsic value and building confidence through action are two sides of the same coin. They empower you to live authentically, unswayed by external noise. Together with the earlier lessons, letting go, embracing solitude, and cleansing negativity, they form a Stoic blueprint for inner freedom. Imagine your life as a river. Letting go clears the debris, solitude deepens the current, cleansing negativity purifies the water, recognizing your worth anchors the flow, and acting with confidence propels you forward. Each principle builds on the last, creating a life that feels purposeful and resilient, no matter what challenges arise. Reflect on this. What's one small victory you can celebrate today, and what's one action you can take to build confidence? Maybe it's acknowledging your patience during a tough conversation or committing to a 10-minute walk to clear your mind. These choices, though small, are powerful. They remind you that happiness and strength don't depend on others. They flow from within. In a world that often pulls us outward, Stoicism calls us back to ourselves, to a life where we are enough, just as we are. Start today. Take 5 minutes to write down one quality that makes you valuable, your empathy, your grit, your love for learning. Then, pick one tiny action to boost your confidence, like sending an email you've been avoiding or trying a new recipe. As you move forward, carry this Stoic truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. With each step, you're not just living, you're thriving, building a life of peace, purpose, and unshakable inner freedom. What does it mean to truly forgive? In a culture that often glorifies holding grudges or seeking revenge, think of the call-out culture on social media or the pressure to never forget a slight. Forgiveness can feel like weakness. But Stoic philosophy offers a radical perspective. Forgiveness, both for others and yourself, is a powerful act of liberation. It's not about excusing harm or erasing the past. It's about freeing yourself from the heavy chains of resentment, guilt, and anger. As Epictetus said, "There is no one who can harm you unless you consent to be harmed." By choosing forgiveness, you take back control, releasing the emotional weight that keeps you tethered to pain and reclaiming the peace and freedom you deserve. This is especially vital in today's world, where a 2024 American Psychological Association study found that 63% of Americans report holding onto grudges that negatively impact their mental health. Picture your heart as a room filled with furniture. Some pieces are beautiful, like memories of love and triumph, but others are heavy, broken relics. Grudges against a friend who betrayed you, guilt over a mistake you made, or anger at yourself for not being perfect. These relics take up space, crowding out joy and draining your energy. Forgiveness is the act of clearing them out, not because the pain wasn't real, but because you deserve a lighter, brighter space to live in. Stoicism teaches that we can't control others' actions, someone's betrayal, a harsh word, or a past wrong, but we can control our response. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Forgiving, on the other hand, is choosing to set the poison down not for their sake but for yours. Let's ground this in a story. Meet Lisa, a 38-year-old accountant in Portland. For years, Lisa carried a deep wound from her childhood. Her father left the family when she was 10, and his absence left her feeling unworthy. As an adult, she harbored resentment, replaying memories of his abandonment every time she faced rejection. The anger was a constant weight, affecting her relationships and self-esteem. One day, while reading Marcus Aurelius's words, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury," Lisa had a revelation. She realized her resentment was keeping her stuck, not her father. Forgiveness didn't mean excusing his absence. It meant refusing to let it define her. She started a Stoic practice. Each morning, she wrote a letter to her younger self, affirming her worth and releasing a piece of her anger. She also forgave herself for the years she'd spent feeling not enough. Over months, the weight lifted. Lisa felt a newfound peace, like opening a window after years in a stuffy room. Today, she volunteers at a youth center, helping kids feel seen, a testament to her healing. Forgiving yourself is just as crucial. In American culture, where perfectionism is rampant, 63% of workers feel pressure to be flawless, per a 2025 Gallup poll. Self-forgiveness is often overlooked. Maybe you regret a career choice, like staying in a dead-end job too long, or a personal mistake, like hurting a friend with careless words. Stoicism reminds us that we're human, and growth comes from learning, not punishing ourselves. Ask, what did this mistake teach me? Perhaps that job taught you resilience, or that argument showed you the value of empathy. By reframing guilt as a lesson, you free yourself to move forward. Here's a practical way to start. Try a Stoic-inspired forgiveness exercise called the evening reflection. Each night for a week, take 10 minutes with a journal. Write down one resentment you're holding, maybe a coworker's snide comment or a past failure, like missing a deadline. Then, ask 3 questions. What is in my control here? Your response, not their actions. How is this resentment harming me? It steals your peace. What would letting go feel like? Lighter, freer. End by writing a single sentence of forgiveness, like, I release my anger toward name because I choose peace, or I forgive myself for mistake because I'm growing. For self-forgiveness, try a mirror exercise. Look into your eyes and say, I made a mistake, but I'm learning and I'm enough. These small acts, done consistently, dissolve emotional burdens, creating space for joy. Another tool is visualization, rooted in Stoic premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils. When resentment flares, say, thinking of a friend who ghosted you. Pause and imagine placing that anger in a box, then setting it afloat on a river. Watch it drift away, reminding yourself, I control my peace, not their actions. This doesn't erase the hurt, but shifts your focus to what you can control. In a world where online feuds and workplace drama are common, this practice is a lifeline. For example, if a social media post triggers anger, step away, do this visualization, and choose not to engage. Over time, forgiveness becomes a habit, not a struggle. Forgiveness is a gift to yourself. It's not easy. Letting go of pain feels risky, especially in a culture that equates grudges with strength. But Stoicism shows that true strength lies in choosing peace over poison. Reflect. Who or what are you ready to forgive today? It might be a small slight, like a rude driver, or a deeper wound, like a broken trust. Start with one act of forgiveness, and notice the lightness it brings. As you heal, you'll find freedom, not because the past changes, but because you've chosen to rise above it. Life is unpredictable, messy, and often far from perfect. In a society obsessed with control, think of the endless productivity apps, curated Instagram feeds, or the pressure to have it all together. This uncertainty can feel like a threat, but Stoic philosophy offers a profound antidote. Trust the journey of life, with all its imperfections and unknowns. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. By embracing life's ebb and flow, focusing on small steps, and seeing challenges as opportunities for growth, you cultivate a resilient happiness that comes from within. This is especially relevant today, as a 2025 Pew Research study found that 67% of Americans feel anxious about life's unpredictability, from job insecurity to global unrest. Imagine life as a winding river trail. Some stretches are smooth, with clear views and easy steps, while others are rocky, shrouded in fog, or blocked by fallen trees. You can't control the trail's twists or the weather, but you can control your pace, your focus, and your attitude. Stoicism teaches us to stop fighting life's imperfections and instead lean into them. A setback, like a missed promotion or a health scare, isn't a failure. It's a chance to practice resilience. Uncertainty isn't a curse. It's an invitation to trust yourself. By focusing on what you can control, your effort, your kindness, your next step, you build a life where happiness doesn't depend on a perfect path, but on your ability to walk it with courage. Let's explore this through a story. Meet David, a 42-year-old small business owner in Miami. In 2023, David's catering company nearly collapsed after a major client canceled, leaving him in debt and questioning his future. The stress was crushing, and he felt like a failure, especially seeing competitors thrive on social media. One night, reading Seneca's words, "You have to persevere and fortify your pertinacity until the will to good becomes a disposition to good," David decided to shift his perspective. He couldn't control the economy or his client's decision, but he could control his response. He started small, cutting costs, reaching out to one new client a week, and practicing gratitude for what remained, like his loyal staff. Each step felt insignificant at first, But over a year, his business stabilized, and he landed a contract with a local hotel. More importantly, David found a deeper peace. He realized that the challenge hadn't just tested him, it had shaped him, teaching him patience and resourcefulness. Today, he views life's uncertainties not as threats but as teachers. This resonates in our modern American culture, where the pressure to succeed can make setbacks feel catastrophic. A 2024 Harris poll found that 60% of Americans fear failure, from career missteps to personal struggles. Stoicism challenges this by reframing challenges as growth opportunities. Critical thinking is key. When a setback hits, ask, what can I learn here? How can this make me stronger? For example, if you're passed over for a raise, instead of spiraling, reflect, this stings, but it's a chance to improve my skills or explore new opportunities. This mindset turns obstacles into stepping stones, fostering a trust in life's unfolding. Practically, try a Stoic exercise called Amor Fati, Love of Fate. Each morning, take 5 minutes to reflect on one uncertainty in your life, maybe a shaky job market or a strained relationship. Write down one way it could help you grow, like, this job uncertainty pushes me to learn new skills, or this conflict teaches me patience. Then affirm, I accept this moment as it is, and I'll make the best of it. Throughout the day, focus on one small, controllable step toward progress, like updating your resume or having an honest conversation. These actions ground you in the present, building trust that the journey, however imperfect, is shaping you for the better. Another tool is the Daily Step Challenge. Each day for a week, pick one small action that aligns with your values, like calling a loved one, exercising for 10 minutes, or reading a page of a book. Track these steps in a journal, noting how they make you feel. For example, a 15-minute walk might spark clarity, or a kind gesture might lift your mood. This practice reinforces that progress, not perfection, is the goal. In a culture that glorifies big wins, Stoicism reminds us that small steps, taken consistently, lead to profound growth. Over time, you'll see challenges not as roadblocks but as part of the trail, each one teaching you to trust the journey. Trusting life's journey also means embracing its imperfection. You'll make mistakes, face detours, and encounter storms. But Stoicism teaches that these are not flaws, they're the raw material of growth. Reflect. What's one challenge you're facing right now? Maybe it's a career plateau or a personal loss. Ask, how can I take one step forward today? It might be researching a new skill, journaling your feelings, or simply resting to recharge. Each step, no matter how small, is a vote for your resilience, a reminder that happiness lies not in a perfect life, but in your ability to keep walking. Healing through forgiveness and trusting the journey of life are the capstones of a Stoic life. Together with the earlier lessons, letting go, embracing solitude, cleansing negativity, discovering your worth, and building confidence, they form a holistic path to inner freedom. Picture your life as a tapestry. Letting go removes frayed threads, solitude weaves in moments of clarity, cleansing negativity brightens the colors, recognizing your worth strengthens the fabric, acting with confidence adds bold patterns, forgiving heals the tears, and trusting the journey embraces every imperfect stitch. This tapestry is uniquely yours, a testament to your resilience and growth. In a world that often measures happiness by external markers, wealth, status, or control, Stoicism offers a radical truth. True peace and strength come from within. You don't need to hold on to pain, chase validation, or fear uncertainty. You can forgive, take small steps, and trust that every challenge is shaping you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Reflect on this. What's one act of forgiveness you can offer today? And what's one small step you can take to trust your journey? Maybe it's writing a note of release for a past hurt or committing to a 5-minute meditation to embrace the present. These choices, though small, are profound. They declare that you are the master of your peace, the author of your story. Start today. Take 10 minutes to journal about one person or mistake you're ready to forgive, using the evening reflection exercise. Then, pick one small action to move forward. A kind word, a healthy choice, a moment of gratitude, and affirm, I trust my journey and I'm growing. As you carry these Stoic lessons forward, remember Marcus Aurelius's words, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. With each act of forgiveness and each step of trust, you're not just surviving, you're thriving, crafting a life of unshakable peace, purpose, and inner freedom. Imagine standing on a mountaintop, the wind carrying away the weight of resentment, doubt, and fear. Below you stretches a vast landscape, your life, with its winding paths, stormy skies, and moments of radiant sunlight. The 7 Stoic lessons we've explored: letting go, embracing solitude, cleansing negativity, discovering your intrinsic value, building confidence through action, healing through forgiveness, and trusting the journey of life, are your map to navigate this terrain. They're not just ideas. They're tools to carve out a life of unshakable peace, purpose, and freedom, no matter what challenges arise. Each lesson builds on the last, like stones in a path leading you back to yourself. Letting go frees you from burdens that no longer serve you, creating space for growth. Solitude becomes a sanctuary where you forge a profound connection with your inner self. Cleansing negativity protects your peace, while recognizing your worth anchors you in a truth no one can take away. You are enough. Confidence grows through small, courageous actions, and forgiveness lifts the weight of past pain, for others and yourself. Finally, trusting life's journey empowers you to embrace its imperfections, seeing every obstacle as a chance to grow. Together, these principles form a Stoic blueprint for thriving in a world that often pulls us outward, reminding us that true happiness lies within. In our modern American culture, where 72% of people report feeling overwhelmed by external pressures, per a 2025 Pew Research study, this Stoic wisdom is a lifeline. It's a call to stop chasing validation, to release what holds you back, and to build a life aligned with your deepest values. You don't need a perfect life to be happy. You need the courage to choose peace, the resilience to keep walking, and the faith that your journey is unfolding exactly as it should. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is your power, to shape your inner world, to find joy in the present, and to live authentically, no matter the circumstances. Advice for applying Stoic wisdom in today's world. Living these Stoic principles in 2025's fast-paced, tech-driven world requires intention and practice. Here are 5 practical ways to weave these lessons into your daily life, tailored to the challenges of modern American culture. 1. Practice daily letting go. Each evening, take 5 minutes to journal one thing you're ready to release: a grudge, a worry, or a draining habit like endless social media scrolling. Write, I let go of X to make space for peace. This counters the 60% of Americans who report increased anxiety from digital overload, per a 2024 APA study. 2. Embrace solitude as self-care. Schedule a 15-minute solo date weekly, no phone, just you. Walk in a park, journal, or sip coffee in silence. Reflect on what you love about yourself. This builds self-acceptance in a culture where 64% feel pressured by social obligations, per a 2022 Pew study. 3. Set boundaries to cleanse negativity. Identify one toxic influence, a critical friend, gossip at work, or negative news feeds. Take one step to limit it, like redirecting conversations or muting triggering accounts. This protects your peace, vital when 59% of Americans report stress from toxic interactions, per a 2023 APA study. 4. Celebrate your worth daily. Each morning, affirm your intrinsic value. Look in the mirror and say, I am enough because of who I am. Note one small victory from the day before, like staying calm in traffic. This combats the 55% who feel inadequate from social media comparison, per a 2023 study. 5. Build confidence through small actions. Pick one goal, exercise, a hobby, or asserting yourself. Take one tiny step daily, like a 10-minute workout or saying no to an extra task. Track it in a journal to see progress, countering the 62% who struggle with self-doubt per a 2024 Pew study. These small, consistent habits transform Stoic wisdom into a lived practice, helping you navigate the noise of modern life with clarity and strength. The journey to inner freedom doesn't end here. It's just beginning. If these 7 Stoic lessons have inspired you to let go, embrace your worth, or trust your path, we invite you to join the ZENLIGHT 8 community on YouTube. Subscribe to ZENLIGHT 8 for weekly videos packed with Stoic wisdom, practical tools, and stories to guide you toward a life of peace and resilience. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a step on this transformative path. We want to hear from you. In the comments below, share which of the 7 lessons resonates most with you and why. Is it letting go of a toxic relationship, finding strength in solitude, or forgiving to heal? Maybe it's all 7. Let's spark a conversation and support each other. Challenge yourself to comment 7 if you're ready to embrace all 7 lessons and start applying them today. Your voice matters, and together we can build a community of growth and inner strength. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start living these principles. Take one small step today. Journal a forgiveness note, affirm your worth, or trust your journey with a single action. As Seneca said, while we are postponing, life speeds by. Seize this moment, subscribe to ZENLIGHT 8, and let's walk this path to inner freedom together. See you in the comments, and let's make 7 the start of something powerful.